Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening to us. We are the Clashing Conferences Network. This is the Rotating Members Group podcast. Welcome back for another week. Before we get into our discussion tonight, we'd like to thank our sponsors. First of all, if you are in the Lancaster, PA area, then go to, oh my God, it's Ben McNally.
Speaking of
Anyways,
haircuts,
in the middle of my sponsorship read, go to Celine from Sparrow Hair Studio. Tell her that you are a member and she will hook you up with a discount. Also, LOTWYN Hype Change. Use code TCCPOD for 10% off your first order of a custom hype chain. And lastly, shout out to This Day in Philly Sports, Jim Montgomery, for being a long-standing partner of the pod. We'd also like to shout out everyone who decided last week they'd like to be here with Karan and not here tonight with us. So thank you for making Kyle and I feel really welcome. We appreciate that. But as always, Ben, first time being on with me. Well, we've been on some other ones, but first time being on one that I've hosted. We have Kyle, and we have, as they call him in France, Le Beard, here with us as well tonight. So, gentlemen, good evening. Good to see you.
What up? What up?
Good evening, and good evening, Laybeard.
What's up, Ben?
LeBeard James.
Thanks for letting me come on, Patty.
Hey, no problem at all. Should be a good one. We got some NFL preview, some other topics, and then a good clash and draft. We got 4 people now that should fit right in at the end. So right now, I want to lead off with Kyle because me and him talked a little bit pre-show, and he wants to give his, shout out to, I believe they're a rival team in his district, but someone from close to home who happens to be playing in the Little League World Series right now. So Kyle, take it away.
Yeah, just a shout out to the Glenmore Little League team from District 28 here in Pennsylvania. We're also, our Callan Little League team is also in District 28, but they won not only did they win states, but they won the regional for Mid-Atlantic. So they will be representing the Mid-Atlantic region at Williamsport starting next week, and actually starting this week, the end of this week, and they have a very, very good chance. They have a solid team, very solid team. I was very impressed seeing a bunch of 11-year-olds that could really play the game, and they played it very well. So it should be fun, man. I always look forward to this every year for like the championship, just to see like what future big leaguers are going to be playing in this type of game, because some of these kids get to be like huge when they're playing in that. And look, a couple years ago, I think we've all seen the clips now. Like when they interview these guys, it's fantastic. These players, and the one kid that just got up there and said, "I'm just here to hit dingers." Right,
Big Al.
11-year-old. Yeah,
my name is dingers. Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then like, it's always fun to see, hey, remember when Big Al said this? And then they like have Big Al in the stands from like 7 years later. You know what I mean? So I always look forward to that. I think it's fun to see these kids like loosen up and really get a feel for it. And then when the major league team plays that Sunday game up there, I think that's a pretty cool thing. So
hey, shout out to the parents that commit to the schedule for this stuff. It is
100%.
Such a commitment, and then especially like when you go into like playoffs and World Series and like traveling. Shout out to all the parents. I know firsthand what it's like, and I don't even do a smidgen of what some of these parents do. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say the same thing, man. Patty knows from coaching travel ball and All-Stars and stuff like that. It's not for the weak of heart, man. It takes up a lot of your time when you're volunteering and doing stuff like that. And I know the coaches get a lot of praise for everything that we do out there. But to your point, Steve, the parents that chauffeur these kids around and they're taking off of work, they're working and then traveling and doing everything they need to do. Shout out to that, man. It takes up a lot of time for these kids, and it's fun to watch and it's fun to be a part of. But yeah, shout out to the Glenmore team. Hopefully they can bring one home for PA. It should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we were talking a little bit before, like, as I've gotten older, I haven't, necessarily watched the Little League World Series as much as I did when I was younger. But I think that something the Little League World Series reminds me of every year is like just that like giddy feeling of being an all-star in your town at 12 years old, and like even being like 10 and 11 and being like, wow, I get a shot in 2 years to do this. And that feeling just never goes away, and it just like reminds you of like just like, and not that it doesn't keep it when you're older, but just like the purity of baseball and other sports when you're a kid. Like, you don't care what's going on, you're just going and playing baseball every day, and get out of this ballpark, Brandon. Mo. And anyways, but it just reminds you of the the purity of baseball, and why you got into sports and why I got into coaching, and all that. Just like, that's what the fun part is to me. And like you said, like all the people that have been, ex Little League World Series guys that come back and play in the MLB, like, we're gonna see somebody, and in 10 years, and we're like, oh well, I remember that kid, this and that. So I definitely think it's something that reminds you, like, of the purity of youth sports, even though obviously, like, we talk about the time commitment, we talk about other things, and that aren't great about youth sports, but this is one of those things where it's like, well, it kind of makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for a lot of people, it's the, like you said, you actually get a chance to do that, and a lot of people fall short. But to see a local team like that actually get to that point, I mean, knowing my son's 8, and he has a chance to do that in the next couple of years and play against teams that are actually playing in that, right? So it gives me a lot of hope for the future for youth sports. And I know a lot of talk has always been about rec league versus travel and stuff like that, and rec leagues are pretty much, I feel like they're falling by the wayside because everything's about travel. So, I think, yeah, and that's what it turns out to be, man. It's a time consuming, money crunching type of business right now. So it's good to see stuff like this, even though it is travel ball, but it does bring back that purity to it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like get too much into it, but like, to me, what I've always said, what I think is a big issue as far as travel sports go, and being a travel baseball coach, I think, to me, what the biggest issue is, if I could pinpoint it without, getting too deep into it, is that when a lot of travel teams, especially like up by me, like, these kids have been playing travel baseball since they were 6 years old, because they were the best kids when they were 6 years old, and they just kept on playing. Like, I'm sure up here, I'm sure in many places across America, there's kids who became phenomenal baseball players that never got the chance to play at 10, 11, 12 years old because they weren't a part of that group when they were 6. And what I always loved about when we were kids, and I know some places still do this, but when we were kids, how the travel team was selected was you had to be an all-star for rec. So, like, you had to go out and you had to play and perform on a baseball field for 2 months, and then they'd say, oh, okay, you're going to be on the all-star team because you're one of the 12 or 13 best players. Whereas now travel teams are picked in August, the year, like my travel, I'm not coaching next year, but my travel team that I would have went up another year with, they had their tryout yesterday for next year.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
those kids are all going to, go
way
through
ahead of it.
and I mean, again, I don't want to get too much, but like, literally, it's like NBA free agency. You got to try out for 5 different teams. No, seriously, you got to try out for 5 different teams, because if one team doesn't take you, you got to be able to go to another.
Yep.
And you got to be like, I mean, there are some bad things about travel sports in general, but again, I want to focus on the positive of, like, Little League World Series, awesome time, awesome for the people. Ben, I'll give you the choice. You want to shift to a little baseball talk or football talk first? What do you want to go to?
Ooh. Well, I'll save some baseball talk for the baseball pod tomorrow. So why don't we talk a little football? I had some eyeballs on joint practice last week in New England. Got to see some Pats Commanders joint practice. Me and my buddy, we made the mistake of not leaving a little bit early because we did get there about 15 minutes late, and unfortunately, we were not able to get our normal seat for when we go to training camp every year to get our scouting reports in, but we were able to get a good view, and we actually had a great view of the fight that broke out. That Vrabel, he was like a bat out of hell. Like, it was like one of those like things. Like, it's like, the best way I can describe it is when you see something falling and you just go into like fight or flight and you get there as like fast as you can. He was in the pile like faster than you can say like, whoa, like, what's going on? And like after the fact, after it had gotten broken up, me and my buddy were like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty hot out." He was like wiping a towel on his face, like, because he was getting sweaty. Turns out he actually got a cut on his face, and if you go back and look at a couple press conferences he did after the fact, like it is clear as day. It is like it's almost like a sideburn of a cut, like all the way, like it's crazy. But it just goes to show like the different mentality the team has this year. Like everyone's just buying in, and like I've been to a couple practices and everything just feels like way smoother, and like they have a clear direction. And the Commanders looked like ass, to be honest. I mean, Jaden Daniels or none of their main pass catchers ended up playing in the game, but I know it's preseason, the first game of the preseason. Let's get overexcited about everything that happened. Like, Patriots scored 48 points, which is apparently the most they've ever scored in a preseason game. So there's that.
Easy, Topher. Easy,
Yeah.
Topher. You're starting to sound like
Yeah,
Topher.
I know.
Easy,
I know.
easy.
I know. There was a lot of good things. It was the first game of the preseason, but I have been on the take for months now. Their goal should be the 7th seed and a playoff team. If you can be the 7th best team in your conference, you got a shot. And I think that is a realistic opportunity. Sneak in maybe 9-8, 10-7, and then maybe get to play one of the middle seeds, I think it is. Like, because now it's only the 1 seed that gets the bye.
Yep.
So in that sense, they would be playing the 2 seed. But yeah, I'm starting to buy into the hype. Like, I know it's been one preseason game, but all the moves and the direction that the team has taken in the offseason, it's hard not to be excited as a Patriots fan. First time in like 4 or 5 years since Brady left. It's good things are coming.
Good for you.
What you think of the statue unveiling?
So I was actually on my way to a softball game when it was going on, and I got to watch it a little bit after. I think they did a pretty good job. I would have liked like probably the statue itself. I would have liked him with the helmet on, like making the classic like "let's go" face, or like something like more animated. I mean, the statue, he does look stoic, like, and it's just like that's kind of how he carried himself his whole career. I can't wait to go see it, but I thought overall it was fine. It actually looks like him. It's not like the Dwayne Wade statue. That's just
or the Cristiano
the
Ronaldo
Ronaldo statue.
Yeah, the Ronaldo one.
Yeah. So apparently the guy I read earlier actually spent 20,000 plus hours on this thing, and I don't know what that equates to or how long he's been working on it, but like that the detail is crazy, and it actually does look like him, which is like what a statue should, like, it should look like the person. I don't know who made the Dwayne Wade statue or the Ronaldo statue, but like, what are we doing here? Like,
I think it was some of those little leaguers that we were just talking about in art class. They made it, and that's what they did.
Ben, I think that the Patriots
an ashtray.
I think that the Patriots being set at 7.5 wins is the hardest capital gains line I've looked at in my entire life.
Take it from me, and I'm not a homer. Take the over. They are definitely going to be better than 8 and 9. They are not going to be under 500.
Dude, you're in a tough division. You got to think that. Yeah,
the Bills are our only competition. Wait till Tua gets knocked in the head. What are the Jets going to do? The Jets and Justin
Fields? The Jets
Fields?
beat you once every year, no matter how bad they are.
Not this year. The Dolphins. Tua owns the Patriots, weirdly enough. But
did you see Brady's speech about what he said about the Jets? It was hilarious.
Yes,
he said that this will give Jets
dig.
fans something to throw their beers at when they're leaving at halftime. Oh, it was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, on the bright side, Ben, you have your star pass rusher locked up to a long-term deal. Your owner is not a gigantic piece of garbage, and you're not a Cowboys fan. So, Steve, you know how you feeling about everything going on with this Micah situation?
Michael Parsons, according to Jerry.
Yeah, Michael or Micah, depends who you talk to.
Man, what a fiasco.
I've been a Cowboys fan long enough that I'm numb to all of it, so I don't get fazed by it or pay attention to it anymore. Preseason, especially, regardless, just because it's so unpredictable. There's nothing really that like you can look at as like that's promising, because you guys were talking about it the other week. Like, you don't know what they're running, what's going on. They're just trying stuff. So when game time hits, that's when I pay attention. And Dallas seems to always have some kind of crap going on that I just don't want to pay attention to or listen. Sucks, right? Because I've been a fan since they were good. I did see them win some Super Bowls. I've been a fan that long. But
amen.
You can't change your team. So I'm stuck with them. Parsons is obviously great, and whoever gets him is going to be ecstatic. I wish it would be us, but I don't know if it's going to be.
I feel like Jerry Jones just does this every year with whoever needs to get paid. Like I
Every
remembered
year.
with Dak
He did it with
Prescott
Dak
like a
and
couple of
CD.
years ago.
And
yeah,
And
I'll say this: the one thing about this that I think I like, I want your guys' take on this. I think there's been too much of the players been demanding what the salary rates are, and they've been like dictating, we need paid this much. So you guys are saying like every contract needs to be a record-breaking contract.
it's ridiculous. It's
So
gotten like way out of hand. Like you all are not the best players of all time at your position. Like
Right.
just stop it. We need to find a scale, a pay scale. Like
So for Jerry Jones to publicly say, I can pay him all the money in the world, that doesn't mean he's not going to get injured. That actually, I think, fights back on that a little bit. And I know it wasn't a popular comment that he made, but I bet you there was a lot of other GMs and coaches out there kind of going, good job, Jerry. Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of GMs and owners that agree with Jerry, but Jerry ain't the one carrying the rock and sacking people on Sundays to win football games.
100%. I get that. And believe me, I think I would rather have a Dallas Cowboys without him than with him. So I'm not saying I'm a Jerry supporter. But I do think there's some realities to what he's saying, and it could be trend setting.
I mean, I get it. I get where he's coming from and everything like that. I just I would be annoyed as a Cowboys fan just that he can't ever he just can't let anybody do his job. Like
he just gets in the way.
Look at New England. Like New England got to a point where I'm sorry, I mean, like most people remember, like New England was a laughing stock in the early 90s. Like they were before Tom Brady showed up. I mean, yeah, Bledsoe had a couple good years, but Robert Kraft literally gave Belichick all this power, and then at some point they were like, well, Belichick's doing too much and we're going to move on. Whether that's right or wrong, whatever, it is what it is. It happened. Like Jerry, since he's the owner, has no ability and no accountability to do that. He can't look himself in the face and say, I'm doing too much. Like there's a story that I come back on all the time of I want to say it was the 2011 or 2012 draft, and Johnny Manziel was coming out of Texas A&M. And Johnny Manziel was they were like Jerry's in the room. He's like, we're taking Johnny Manziel. We need to take Johnny Manziel. Like Johnny Manziel is our guy. And everyone else in the room is like, you're an idiot. We're taking Zach Martin. Like he's clearly the best player on the board. And Zach Martin's a Hall of Fame guard. Like he just can't get out of his own way sometimes, I feel like. And that would frustrate me if I was a fan.
The easiest way to sum that up, do you guys, and I'm sure you do, what's the most valuable franchise in all of sports?
Dallas. The Cowboys.
Dallas. That is why Jerry Jones will do what he wants to do. It's a business to him, right? As long as they're the most valuable organization in all of sports, that's what he looks at. I read an article and I talked to a couple people that when the sponsors come into the stadium, they stop practice, right? They stop practice so they can meet the players. What type of organization does that? That's not any type of discipline for the players. So no one we all heard the articles and or heard the stories and everything when fans do the tour of the stadium and they see them in the weight room with the glass windows. They look at them like they're caged animals, like they could see in to see their workouts and everything. Like everything's on display for Jerry, right? Everything's a business to him. That's what it is. So as an Eagles fan,
I did the stadium
Jerry,
tour.
please.
I was in the women's locker room. Like that was awesome as a fan, but to your point,
you were allowed though. You were allowed to be
over.
there. You were allowed to be there. You weren't there when you weren't supposed to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes me want to wish that these owners would have to take a test to be an owner. Like you have to take a fan test in order to own an NFL franchise, because that's when people like Jerry Jones who do these things, that's who suffers the most, is us, the fans.
However, the flip side of that, I'll say, Ben, is that I'll take Jerry Jones 10 times out of 10 over some of these MLB owners, like the owner of the Pirates and the owner of these teams that just refuse to spend money, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars on these teams and not putting out a product. At least Jerry wants a good product, and he'll spend money to put out the product, knowing that he'll get that in return. Like, there's other owners in sports that simply just don't care about the product. They're just making a cash cow off of a multi-billion-dollar organization. And so I give Jerry some credit to that regard. But like you said, it's definitely a business to him, and that will hurt them in the long run until he gives up some sort of like that general manager thing. Like, if he just wants to be an owner, fine, but he can't be the owner and general manager. And, you know, it's like Jackie Moon. It's like Jackie Moon, where he's like player, coach, pop singing sensation.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like
it's the same reason New England moved on from Belichick, right? There's a disconnect between how old they are and the younger generation coming into the league. They just can't connect anymore. And which boggles my mind that Belichick went to North Carolina, is dealing with college kids. If he couldn't relate to the young players in the NFL, now he's dealing with even younger kids. But I mean, it helps that his girlfriend's only like 22. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. I guess she's still kind of in college.
26, 25, 26. Let's be clear here. Come on.
And they're sponsored by Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that helps too, right? But look, as an Eagles fan, Jerry, you can stay in Dallas as long as you want, buddy. You can be the GM, you can be the coach, you can be whatever you want down there. Yeah. As an Eagles fan, I love it. But the problem is when he's doing what he's doing with all his star players. So let's say Micah Parsons. I think the sad reality is he's going to try to outsmart this, and he's not going to trade him anywhere because he's going to think that he can get it done, and he's not going to get it done. And then Micah Parsons is going to walk for free, right? They're not going to get anything in return. So what's going to end up happening is then you got guys like CeeDee Lamb, you got guys like Dak that are going to be like, well, wait a minute. Now you're not even building around us. So is this a business? Are you trying to win? And then they're going to get frustrated. So it's going to cause even more turmoil, which is not what you want at all, you know?
What's your guys' honest take on Dak?
I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he's solid. And that's coming from an Eagles fan. I think he's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
I will say not top 10, but definitely above average, above that 16th. I'd put him in the 12 to 14 range.
He gets a lot of crap, and I don't think he's trash. As a Cowboys fan, I don't think he's trash. I'm not saying he's the answer, but injuries have gotten a way of him doing some like pretty serious performances in the past. And I think maybe they've gotten the best of him now. I don't know. He appears to be in really great shape for this upcoming season. We'll see.
Tell me one Cowboy playoff game where the defense showed up. Would they lose to the Packers 55 to 28 2 years ago?
That was a layup. I knew that loss was coming. That was
listen, though,
easy.
Listen, I will say this: Dak is a very solid quarterback, but in big time situations, we always say this as Eagles fans: Dak is going to Dak, right? Yeah. Dak does something in every game in those big time situations to screw something up. So to your point, Patty, they gave up 50 points to the Packers, but I believe at least one of those was a pick six. So he always does something like that. He does it against the Eagles. He does it against big time competition in those big games. So, you know,
there's no perfect quarterback though. Like he's going to choke here and there. But I will
sure. I'm just saying, anytime that the lights are the brightest for him, it seems like he doesn't have that clutch gene when it comes to that. So I don't think that he's incapable of doing it because he has had that clutch gene. I just think that, you know, that's why I wouldn't put him higher than 12th on my list. But like, I think because of the injuries, if he plays a full season, he could be 4,000 yards plus passer with 30 touchdowns or more. You know, he can be a very solid quarterback for sure.
Part of me is always going to have a soft spot for Dak. He's a big mental health guy off the field. I know he's kind of been through some stuff with his brother committing suicide, and you know everything that I've like seen. Dak, as far as I know, has never been in trouble. He comes off as like a pretty squeaky clean guy, and I like him as the guy. But as a player, like he's just. For me, I don't think he'll ever enter the top 10. He has to really ball out, and then the rest of the team has to really pick him up, and they actually have to win a playoff game to start rewriting that argument. It was like the Peyton Manning argument. Peyton Manning is way better than Dak is ever going to be, but for the longest time, he couldn't win the big game. He would always get wrecked by the Patriots in the playoffs. wrecked by the Chargers, 1 seed, one and done, first round exit. And it took a while for him to kind of switch that narrative around. And I think as a Cowboys fan, like, you would want at least a playoff win. Like, let's start with a playoff win. Yeah, winning the NFC East. Yeah, that's great and dandy. We get a home playoff game. But guess what? We always lose that home playoff game. So let's start with that and just build it up a little bit. But
do you put Jordan Love over him?
I think they're equal.
Yeah,
I think they're interchangeable.
They're like neck and neck. I'd say Jordan Love might be just a tad bit better, but like,
do you put Jared Goff over him?
I think right now I put Jared Goff over him.
Yeah, Goff is just surrounded by a great coaching staff, great players around him.
What did he do in the playoffs last year?
He has
nothing.
a Super Bowl, though.
First round exit. That bye
what
was
did he do?
nothing.
What did he do when he made a Super Bowl? So again, I'm not saying that you have to compare apples to oranges, but you can't crap on Dak Prescott for not winning a playoff game, and then you put a guy like Jared Goff ahead of him who can't do the same thing.
What was the score of that Super Bowl, though? What was that score of that Super Bowl?
10-3.
13-3.
Yeah, it was a horrible, horrible scoring Super Bowl for both teams. So
don't tell Bill Belichick that.
Yeah.
To go back a bit, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Bill Belichick, the coach, and Tom Brady saved Bill Belichick, the GM, because he would have been fired a long time ago. But when you have the greatest player ever and you're also a very good coach, like, that saves you.
Yeah. So before we get to Clash and Draft, I want to just say something really quick. You listen to me, New York Mets. You pull your head out of your ass right now, okay? I know you're 5.5 back. I know you were 5.5 up, but you better bleep and figure it out before I got to jump through this television and beat your ass all the way down to Flushing Meadows. Figure it out.
Feel bad.
You got to play the.
I wish I could have like pre-planned it and like had some more like expletives in there, but other than that, you know, it felt pretty good to just yell at them in the microphone for a hot second. So
I'm sure they'll see it.
I like it.
They will.
They got to figure it out.
They will.
It's getting away real quick.
They're the worst team in American sports history of all time. Like they're.
I mean, I feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, though. You feel like you're less stressed right now.
I feel like what's going to happen is now that they took a 4-run lead, they're going to blow it because I yelled at them in the microphone.
Hey, so I know a Cowboys fan that told me she emailed Jerry Jones her frustration. So just send the email.
All right. This is going to be a very like off topic. This is going to be a very off topic thing really quick, but like talking about a story like that, I have to shout out a good friend of mine. So we were in college and we were playing, we were in a fantasy hockey league. And it was like it was late in the winter, like it was like February-ish, like, you know, kind of back half of the NHL season, early March maybe. And we had a rule in our fantasy league. Sorry, I'm already laughing. We had a rule in our fantasy league that you had to have 2 like goalie starts or 3 goalie starts like in a week in order to like get your goalie stats to count. And this kid called the Florida Panthers front office. He called their ticket booth and asked them if Roberto Luongo was starting in net for them that night. And they were like, sir, we have nothing to do with like the, you know, players. And he was like, well, listen, if you had to like tell me yes or no, like what would be your guess? Like, have you seen him around the rink yet today? Like,
that's wild. That's awesome.
That's the kind of thing you never know what could happen with that.
I haven't done fantasy hockey in like 10 years, or not that long, like 5 years probably, but it's just a lot. I love fantasy basketball, and it's a lot to keep up with. Same with baseball, but all right. I think that this is going to be a great transition into Clash and Draft. Cue the graphic. So, this week's topic, we'll just remind people, Clash and Draft, 4 rounds, snake style. We are going to let, as they call him in Spain, Lesbeard, pick the order. And, our topic this week is greatest things about summer. Now, I want to do a quick rewind before we start. There were some people mad that when we did our 4th of July episode, that like a broader topic and a more specific topic in the same broad topic got picked. This is your reminder that you can go as specific or as broad as you want, but if you pick too broad and someone goes more specific, that's on you. So without further ado, Steve, what would you like the order to be tonight?
Why don't I just go in the order of my screen? So we'll go Ben, Kyle, Patty.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, Ben, start us off.
Last week's, by the way, just to shout that out.
All right, we're
Who
starting
won?
now.
Mike.
Mike, congratulations, Mike. You won the sports movies.
It doesn't count because he's not here. It doesn't count.
It doesn't count because nobody picked Miracle. Anyway, Ben, you're up.
All right, we're gonna start off with a heater. There's a play on words. Warm weather coming from a
Okay.
cold weather state. Oh man, every January and February, I look forward to when I can wear shorts and not wear socks to bed because it is so damn cold. Give me warm weather, number 1 overall pick.
I got to be honest. I don't care how cold it gets. I can't wear socks to bed. It's just a thing for me. So
Hey,
I
when you
agree.
have when you have oil as your heat, you have to learn to save money in any way you can. And if it is wearing socks to bed and a hoodie, sweatpants, blanket, like you got to do what you got to do to save that cash.
Amen,
it's
Ben.
fair.
Go
All
for
right,
it, Kyle.
well,
What's going to be your first
listen,
round?
I coming back off a vacation from an island, I am going to go with one of the best things about summer, the beach. The beach. Can't get any better than that.
All right, I think it's solid. I'm going to go with what I think I would have took at 1-1. Happy to get it here at 1-3. That's swimming, baby. Got to take swimming right here.
Great
Best
choice.
things about
Yep.
summer. Steve for 2.
All right. I'm actually going to go broader on Kyle's because I think he was too specific. PTO, baby. Not out to stray. PTO. Summertime's all about the family vacation. It can be the beach, but it can be anywhere, and it's all about
Shout out Trey.
Are you saying PTO or are you saying family vacation?
Summer vacation. Summer vacation.
Okay, summer
All
vacation.
right,
Are we saying
summer
are we
vacation.
saying hot dogs or PTO?
All right, Steve, you got another one. What's going to be your wraparound pick?
Man, I wasn't ready for that. Summertime. I'm gonna take it back to when we were kids, but the time off of school, summertime off of school.
Oh, there you go.
That
Okay.
was
Yep.
that was pretty spectacular.
Yep.
My second pick is going to be grilling. Just being outside, cooking outside every day, being able to be in the weather, grill a lot of your dinners, no oven for the whole summer. So grilling is going to be my number 2 pick.
Patty, I
That's
just
solid.
gotta say, it could be snowing outside, and I'll fire my grill up.
Yeah,
I'd like to
same.
sometimes.
Same.
Amen.
All right, look, I'm gonna go with a local staple that we all have in our backyards and everything else. Local fairs. The summertime local
okay.
fairs.
Yes, it's a good one.
Okay.
They're always fun for everybody.
Yep. Yeah, actually,
Ben, oh, no. You tell your story. I was going to say you're just up for 2.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I was actually there's this fair that's kind of in my like town area that I like forget about until I like start driving on that road, and then I'm like, oh, it's that time of year again.
Yeah.
But I remember just always going to that same fair. It was like the thing to go to where like all your friends and whatnot would go, and you would just make memories and have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I got 2.
Yep.
All right, I was debating what I wanted to do, but I'm actually for both picks. Both picks, I'm going to keep it sports themed because we are the Clashing Conference sports podcast, right? So the first one, we're going to go with the NBA/NHL championships and like the whole playoff runs. Like those are Like it's every night. It's not the same team every night, but you're getting games every single night, and it's balls to the wall. It's do or die. It's awesome, especially hockey. Hockey
Yeah.
playoffs for me, like, are the best playoffs any sport. It's just those guys are straight up warriors. It is awesome to witness. And then for my second pick, also going to stay in the sports realm. I'm just going to say, as a broad topic, baseball.
Yeah.
You know, we have a baseball pod. We're all baseball fans. And, like, the summer for baseball, like, it's one of the best things ever for me.
I like it.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go with another sport. I'm going to go with the summertime golfing weather. Summertime golf for me, man.
Nice
Summertime
pick.
golf. I don't think there's anything better out there.
That's a great pick. Steve, got two coming up, just to like pre-warn you before I talk here. I am gonna go with this is a term I'd like to say, but then I'll kind of explain. It's like, I'd like to go with the summer blockbuster. Like, there's always a few movies that come out every year that are, you know, the hit of the summer. Like, it was Superman and Fantastic Four this year, and then, you know, Mission Impossible another year. But the summer blockbuster is going to be my number 3 pick.
Nice.
Hey, don't forget about Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer, yep.
Let's go.
Okay. All right, for my third pick, suntan. Give me that suntan.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And then fourth, this is my last one, right? So I have two in mind here, but I am going to go sports themed to Ben's point. Do basketball. Basketball in the summertime was always great ball. So playing basketball with your buddies.
Love it.
Love it.
Love that. Oh, yeah.
I am going to go, I guess, sports adjacent, and it's not something that I love, but I love doing it with my friends who are big into it. And let's do some fishing in the summertime, boys.
There you go.
Head on out, get the rod out, get on the kayak, find a pier, cast the lure out, and do some fishing.
That's exactly what my son was doing all summer. He's into fishing now.
That's a good one. So
Elon's a home run. They heard me.
I'm gonna go a little off the wall here, but it's something that everybody loves in the summer. I love it probably 10 months out of the year. Flip-flops. Give me flip-flops.
Nice.
Ooh.
With or without socks.
Big fan of that. Big fan.
Flip-flops without socks. Yeah, flip-flops without socks. Sandals. I know some people wear socks. I'm not a sock with sandals guy, but flip-flops
it is acceptable.
For sure. Yeah.
Sandals with socks is acceptable. You heard it here from me.
Yeah, but you're a New Englander. I don't know if that counts. You guys are weird up there.
Yeah, but when it's November and it's 45 degrees and you're wearing flip-flops with socks, that's the best.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Ben, finish this off.
I will finish us off, but Steve, if your son is really into fishing, you got to show him Charlie Moore Outdoors. There's this, it's pretty much, long story short, the Red Sox and the Bruins, they play on the channel they're on is called Nesson. It's New England Sports Network for short. But they have this show. It's Charlie Moore Outdoors. Just this guy who just fishes and has like celebrities on. It's a great show. Anyways, all right. To finish my first Clash and Draft, I was thinking after I made my last two picks, oh man, how did I not pick this? I really hope nobody else picks it. But it's literally one of the best parts, or as soon as it gets warm and as soon as the summer comes around, give me air conditioning.
That's a good
You got to stay cool during the summer. And what better way than when you're sweating your you-know-what off during the summer is going into a room that has air conditioning and just laying down. It's one of the best feelings. It's one of the most euphoric feelings as a human you will ever experience.
So when you were going through that spiel, that's not where I thought you were going, because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this. And I'm pretty surprised we went 4 rounds without saying it. None of us said ice cream.
Ooh. It was on my list, but I had to go with flip-flops.
And the other one I wanted to mention was, if I got more specific to grilling, I would have said corn on the cob, which I feel like slaps especially much better in the summer.
That would have been a good pick, corn on the cob specifically.
I didn't want to get ridiculed by going a little more in depth than, like, when I said what did I say? Cookouts on the 4th of July, and Paul said hot dogs. I didn't want to.
No,
I
I said hot dogs.
Yeah, I didn't want any more turmoil, so I let that one slide.
Yeah.
Like when you said swimming, I was going to say the pool, but
you guys might think I'm lying, but less than an hour ago I had corn on the cob. Not even kidding.
Well, it's summertime. We believe it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we believe it. We believe it.
So good.
I don't want to speak things into existence, but Pete Alonso hit a home run since our Mets rant. So here's winning the next 40 games, 41-0 from here on out since the Mets rant. You can count it in the gimmicks. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are the Clashing Conferences Network. We are the Rotating Members Pod. Big shout out to Steve and Ben for joining Kyle and I. I can officially say this since Jim was a no-show. Thank you to Kyle, the more handsome Montgomery brother, for being here. And shout out to our sponsors, LOTWYN. Shout out to Sparrow Hair Studios, Jim Montgomery, the less handsome Montgomery brother. And as always, we will see. We got a few more weeks left before we switch topics into the fall. I know to plug, we got baseball coming up later this week. And I believe I saw that in about 2 weeks, 8:25 is the return of the football pod.
8:28.
8:28. So it's pretty close. So unfortunately, you will have to be subjected to NFC East talk, but we'll try to complement that on the rotating members as much as we can. Thank you as always. Good night, sayonara, and we will see you next time.
Hey, who won the Super Bowl last year? I missed it. Who won?
Yeah, it's called it.
Boom, boom, boom.